How y'all doing? This is Earthquake from Tattoo For You. Today I'm going to show you how to use a thermocopier. This is one of the cheap Amazon, eBay thermocopiers. You can get them for anywhere from 100 to 150 bucks. That varies if you want, stencil paper with it or whatnot. I say just buy the machine, buy the stencil paper separately. So I have the cheap Amazon thermal stencil paper. Now, I'm going to show you how to load this. First, you want to take your wax piece out. Throw this back down like that. Now, there's a bunch of videos on YouTube. I'm not the first guy to do this. Most people will tell you trim this yellow piece off, but I like to keep mine because then you can save the thermal paper, because you don't need the machine. It just makes it a lot more convenient and it's less time consuming. So you could take your design, which this is Dobby from Harry Potter. He's a free elf. Harry gave him a sock. So what you would do is you would either take the tracing paper, trace this out, and then freehand it onto here. You just go over it. Or, because we're going to use this in the stencil machine, then we're going to save this blue paper, which is just ink. So we would take this, cut it out roughly, stick it on here, and then trace all the lines, and then bam, our stencil would be here. So that's why I say don't cut the yellow piece off, because it makes it easier to store this, because then you could take this piece, throw it back on here, tape it over, and then you're not going through 100 sheets of thermocopier paper, in a week. But that's mainly for the guys that are working on a budget, they're tattooing at home, they're just starting out. I mean, I've been doing it forever, and I still do that because I'm a cheap bastard. So, on to how to load your machine. So, let's first go over the machine. There's a power button right here, or power switch. So that's going to turn your machine on. So you got 6 buttons: copy, stop, that's if you're having an error, which normally if you have an error, it's your own damn fault, you didn't do it right. So mirror, you want that off if you want your design to print like this. If you want it to flip, so it'll be reversed, so then all this lettering would be backwards. All this lettering would be backwards. You'd put it back on. So we're going to take that off. Then you got photo, which is for obviously pictures. It makes the stencil come out better. I don't do a lot of photorealism or stuff like that. I do a lot of cartoons, new school, traditional, stuff like that. I'll do anything, but that's what I prefer. So deepness, there's 1 or 2. Deepness 1 is basically how bold you want these lines to be. Like, this is a pretty bold design, but if you look in the elf, free elf, it's a little bit thinner. So deepness 1 would be the thin lines. This whole design would be a lot thinner. If you use deepness 2, it would be a lot thicker lines. So, alright, now let's load our machines. Enough talking. So, what you want to do is take your yellow sheet like this, which makes it, again, or another reason why I keep that on is because it makes loading this a lot easier. Now, see how this is coming through like here? Like this? It's poking through here. You don't want that. What you want is you want this to come out like that. You have to put this back down a little. Now, we're going to bring this up to right about there, because you want the tab sticking out. Now, if it comes through a little too much, you can grab this back piece here and just pull it gently, and then we're going to lock these down. Lift that up. Now, if you have a design where it comes all the way down here, but there's not a lot of space up here, you'd want to put it in. Either way, you're going to face the machine with your design, but you'd want to put it on bottom side first, because that's the first piece that's going to print. Because you'll see when this prints, there's going to be a lot of headspace at the top that doesn't get used. So, load your paper in. Once you hear that beep, it's ready. Now what I do to keep it from jamming, because if you're not careful, this piece will go right in here and it'll get all messed up. So I'll hold my designs like that, but so you guys can see. So I got it on deepness 1. I'm going to switch it to 2 because I like a bolder line. We're going to leave mirror off and photo off, and we're going to hit copy. Now we're going to hold these so that way it can do its magic. Now, what you do is leave that like that, lift this up, pull this out, put this back down. Now you can see your design. Now, it's upside down, but that's fine because we're going to rip this piece off when we stencil it. Well, when we put the stencil on the thing. Now, when you're reading it, the free elf is backwards, but when we stamp it on the person, or the fake skin is what I'll be putting this on, it'll read free elf. But if we did mirror, it wouldn't. So, now, I'm not going to be using this right now, so that's another reason why we keep the yellow and we keep this wax paper. Because then you can put this in here like this. Flip that down, and then you can store it. And, you know, it won't smudge your stencil, but if you don't put that wax paper back in there, you're gonna get ink all over your stencil. It's gonna smudge. There's, like, wherever you tap it without that wax paper in there, it's gonna get onto your stencil paper and ruin your design. So there we go. You always keep your reference. I've been Earthquake from Tattoo For You. This has been how to use your thermal copier machine for tattooing and making your stencils. You know, like, subscribe, share. Please share, even if you don't subscribe or like. You know, let's pass this knowledge on. You know, it's very hard to get into the tattoo industry, and there's a lot of guys that don't like giving information out. They either want you to pay them, or, you know, you got an apprentice, and some guys, they just want to do it as a hobby, you know, which is fine with me. You know, if you want to tattoo at home, that's fine with me. Do you. Y'all have a good day.